Hi Michelle, I was hoping we could have a chat today about the experiences you've had with our Level 5 apprenticeship learners.
Yeah, that'd be great. Really positive things. It's a great qualification, a great level. So yeah.
Okay, what I'd love to know most is, what does it entail? What does it look like for those learners?
I think as an early years practitioner, you can get stuck and you've done your level 3, that's compliant. But what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing more and more is people want something else. Because, you know, I crazily have recently taken on a level 7 because I felt like I was same old, and you're in a routine. So you're kind of like, where do I go to get extra? So I think as you know, managers can be level 3 and they're there, but they wanted something else. So that's where the 5 really sits in, and you can do the operational version or you can do the lead practitioner depending on where your strengths lie. And I think it just gives people a kind of opportunity to open their thinking, challenge thinking, and just start to get a feel for a brave new world and learning new things and looking at the world with a different lens.
So what's the value of being able to do that?
For an individual, I think it's building their confidence, their self-esteem, their self-belief in their leadership, and then being a role model to their team.
Yeah, and you're right, we talk about the level 3. If you look at the criteria, that's all you need, isn't it, to manage a nursery? But is that where you want to stop? Is that where we want the learning to end? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and depending on, some people might need a bit of coaching to be brave, to take those steps, to open themselves to some more study. Oh, it's going to be too much work. Oh, I'm going to do this. They'll put all the barriers in place. Yeah. And it's kind of just breaking those down gently and going, what's the harm? Just go for it. You know, taking those brave steps, taking some inspiration from Brené. You know, she's always talking about being brave, isn't she? Vulnerable. Do it. Just go for it. Because what's the worst? You know, I think for an organisation who are levy payers, it can be fairly cost neutral. I'm saying that with the tongue in cheek. But, you know, there are opportunities to get levy transferred to support your learners. So yeah, it's win-win. It can only enhance, I feel. There are times there will be pressure. You know, there are times you've got to juggle harder than other days. Yeah. But essentially, there are more positives to come out of it. Yeah.
That's it. And it's about having that open-mindedness and thinking about what that future holds. And I think an organisation like Family First, there's a lot of opportunity, I imagine, across all of the sites that you have.
Yeah.
What does career progression look like for someone studying their level 5?
So recent people that have succeeded, and literally this is hot off the press because Nola's told me this morning we've got 3 recent distinctions.
Congratulations.
At level 5, which is just awesome. I think, you know, if we look at, there's a little hub in Kent, and the managers that have done their level 5, succeeded, got distinctions, they've now moved on to a bigger site. Okay. They're now role modelling and mentoring young apprentices. They, you know, so they're influencing, and they're also developing their room leaders, because I've done a session with the manager and the room leaders, and they're now fully involved in mentoring the apprentices in the nursery. One person moving from one site into another has meant an opportunity for another level 5 practitioner who's been successful, stepping up into a manager role. So there is real progression. And one of those ones that is literally hot off the press, we now will need to look at, where do we go with her? What are the opportunities? Because she's already contacted me and said, Michelle, what's next? Where can I go? What can I do? Yeah. And I think that for me is a special bit. When people are brave and they put themselves out there to do that study and open themselves up to new information and new experiences, what it does to them, it builds their confidence and their self-esteem, and then creates that hunger for more knowledge. And that makes me very excited.
And I think that's a really healthy mindset, isn't it? Why not? You know, we want a lifelong career in early years, so it's really exciting to think about what those next steps might look like. Yeah. So you've told me a bit about the career progression and how it's supportive for those leaders in their journey. Let's bring it right back to the children. What impact has their studies had on the children and the offering that you have?
I think it's how it's influenced the team and the practitioners, and they can see how much their leader has grown and developed. So then that filters down. So as a role model, it's a much more positive environment, and I think the children absolutely benefit because the people around them are positive, are willing to try new things and look outside the box.
Yeah.
So the children get much broader experiences.
So you've got a number of level 5. I remember we spoke, you had a cohort that went through. Just thinking on that bigger scale now and the wider business, what impact has their studies had?
I think it has been individual progression and Ofsted. And I think also the pebble on the pond ripple effect has given other people the thought, maybe I should. So I think that's where we're going to build, and what we look at next.
Yeah.
Because we've had a big focus on the young people coming in at the bottom, which obviously we'll talk about in a bit. But I think the level 5s, those that have seen successful managers who have got busy day-to-day jobs, if they can then achieve a distinction at the end of the day, that is just incredible.
And when we're thinking about leaders, we think about retention.
Yeah.
Because the higher up the career ladder you go, the less opportunity presents because the roles become much more minimal in the sense of availability. How do you think having this future education supports retention?
What I'm currently writing a business proposal on is, and something that I feel really, really passionate about, is investing. If you look at companies like Virgin, they say their secret sauce is the people. Yeah. And I'm totally with Richard Branson on that one. So I want us to develop that secret sauce and invest in the people. And the CEO is Tony's on the same page. And he said, we've had really passionate, animated discussions about not just thinking about what we can do, invest in people for the day-to-day job and their knowledge and their practitioner job. But what if we said, Laura, is there a skill that you've always wanted to develop? Have you wanted to be a horticulturalist? Have you wanted to be, I don't know, a chef? Have you want to learn to make pasta? He said, how can we make that happen? Do we have a way of investing in that person and go, here you go, we'll give you something towards you taking that course and learning how to make pasta? How would that individual feel? I mean, that's just really, truly special and it excites me, so yeah.
And I think that's something that's so obvious to us in early years. Children learn through play. They play with what interests them.
Yeah.
So why as adults are we different?
But also if you look at Heckman and the Heckman curve and the value of investing in children, why don't we do that for adults?
Exactly.
Why don't we create that same thing?
So if we've got maybe an employer that's thinking, oh, this level 5, is it really worth it? Should I invest in it? What would you say?
Absolutely, yes. You'd be crazy not to. But because even as an SME, there are opportunities out there for funding. So I get, there could be cost implications. We're levy payers, the government take it whether we like it or not. Yeah. Hey, but there are lots of funding opportunities out there and they're not tricky. I've managed to sort of secure in excess of 300,000 in levy transfer pretty easily, going on different things. So there are ways and means. And an organisation like yourselves will make that happen too. So yeah, you've got to go for it. Absolutely.
And why should they choose Realise?
Because you are the best. But I think your secret sauce is the passion that everyone has for early years. And that comes all the way from the top down through everybody you come in contact with. And nothing is ever too much trouble. The communication is incredible and the quality of the product is awesome. And I think also what you're willing to do in terms of partnership with the larger providers like ourselves, what we've developed in terms of resources for the apprentices, phenomenal. I've dealt with a few other training providers and we're sharing some of it with another training provider, but no one's blown my socks off like you guys have. And it's purely the passion. And that is through everybody that you come in contact with.
Lovely, thank you. Last question. If we've got someone who's thinking about studying their level 5, what advice would you give them?
Do it. No other. If this rusty old brain, and I think this is also something I think, we talk about brain development in babies, don't we?
Yeah.
And the importance of brain development from the minute they come into the world. I think it's the same for adults. Yeah. I could have retired last year, but I fiercely am keeping my brain active. And I'm fortunate, maybe because I have relatively good health, etc. But my brain needs to be fed the same way as it was as a baby. I don't want dementia. I don't want to so for me, if you keep those grey cells motivated and moving and functioning and building more synapses where they've we know they die.
Absolutely.
So study can do that, or reading a book or something, just expose yourself to something new and see what happens.